Join UF Hall of Famer and 14-year NFL vet Shane Matthews every weekday as he brings you all you need to know about your Florida Gators, including news, analysis, and opinions with some of the biggest names in sports. Find us on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts, or watch us live at 8 a.m. on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter.
Good morning and welcome to a live edition of PodUp with Matthews in the morning from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. It's back to our normal, regularly scheduled programming on a Tuesday. We're going to have the one and only good old Buddy Martin join the program. If you missed it, Gator softball, I believe, got swept by Tennessee, struggling right now, but all that matters is postseason play, so hopefully they can get it going. NBA playoffs. Supposedly Jimmy Butler was unbelievable last night for the Heat. They have the 1 seed Milwaukee Bucks in trouble. So we'll see how that goes. And I think the Lakers won in overtime. But let's go to the Titan More hotline. And we're joined by good old Buddy Martin from the Buddy Martin Show. You can listen to him.
He's back. He's back.
I'm back, buddy. I'm back. Buddy, are you still only 4 days a week or 5 days a week?
I'm four, but I do a weekend show with my friends in Alabama too as well. And yeah, I'm done Monday through Thursday. We're talking about maybe making some changes. We'll see what it brings. But boy, I'm glad you're back. I got to get my Gator inside information. You know, France is scratching around. We got to have you giving us stuff, man. You get in that pro mode. You know, you forget to get your place around. Got above your raisin or something. I don't know.
Man, I'm glad to be back. I ain't gonna lie. It was a fun experience. It was a trying experience. The league is in good hands. We'll see if I go back. We'll see what happens. But it was fun. It was fun calling plays. We went from the bottom of the barrel in offense to ended up second in the league, I think.
You did great job. Great job,
So
Shane.
it was fun.
As soon as you started calling plays, things changed. I watched probably maybe 2/3 of your games. And they finally got smart and gave you the thing that you call the plays, and they did immediately. You went up, and I think you all finished second in the league in offense. And so, good job by you. I hope it works out for you if you want to go back, but we'll be glad to keep you right here if you don't. Okay?
Yeah, you know what they say, buddy. Stats for offensive coordinators, defensive coordinators. So anyway,
yeah.
So, buddy, we got a lot going on in the sports world. Obviously, first, I wasn't on the show yesterday because I was traveling and doing all kinds of family stuff. I don't know if you're aware of this, buddy, but I drove from the Dallas area to Mississippi, where my daughter lives.
Right.
We had her gender reveal party, so we're having
having a grandbaby.
We're having a little boy. She's having a boy.
Oh, that's great! Congratulations. That's wonderful.
So we're fired up about that, and then we all as a family went to Oxford, Mississippi Sunday night for the Morgan Wallen concert that didn't happen. Boy, what a mess that was.
Really? Because of the tornadoes.
No, it had nothing to do with a damn tornado.
Oh, buddy. What was that?
He had a 2-night show in Hemingway Stadium.
Yeah.
Saturday show was phenomenal from what everybody said. We got there for the Sunday show. All the opening acts did their deal, and then there's like a 30-minute pause, changing the stage and all that. And the dude comes out and says, Morgan Wallace has lost his voice. The show is canceled.
Oh, my
Walks
word.
off. So, of course, people think, this is a joke. He's going to come flying in from a helicopter or who knows what.
Yeah.
Dude comes back out 15 minutes later. He's like, no, the show is canceled. People start throwing stuff, booing. Supposedly he didn't lose his voice. He got so hammered the night before, his security guards lost him in Oxford. Found him on a couch in a bed and breakfast and had to pump his stomach.
Oh, my word.
So it was very disappointing. They refunded their tickets, but
I guess
people spent thousands of dollars for hotels.
Yeah.
I will tell you this. I've been to Oxford a million times, never seen that many people in that town or that campus, and they were not prepared for it. It was a mess. So many people there. Yeah, it was probably
such
about
a neat
75, 80,000 people.
Really? That many? Wow.
Back to back nights. So,
well, that's what Oxford's an amazing little place. I want to go with you sometimes there because they got a great bookstore. They're one of the great bookstores of all time, and they just it's just that's a neat place. And lame would be crazy to leave it. I think my first trip there was back in the day. I mean, way back, and I guess, the 70s, and went to the Grove the first time, and I thought, man, this is cool. So there's a whole culture there people don't know about.
Yeah, it's a special place. So Greg says, what does the baby identify as though? He will be a boy, trust me. Don't get me on that down
Uh,
transgender sports
no, you
deal.
get off that. That's not your ticket. You stick the ball, okay?
Yeah.
Just think about the grandbaby, how great it's going to be. Someone told me this a long time ago, and they were right. Being a grandparent is one of the few things in the world that's not overrated. It's amazing. So you'll have a great time. So,
Well, we just got a text on the Titan No More text line, buddy, from Andy. He says, "Welcome home. Congrats on the big reveal." He says, "Do you think the Jets can make the playoffs with Aaron Rodgers?" Yes, I do.
There you go.
Looks like he won't wear Namath number 12 going to number 8.
Right.
Oh, they won't let him wear number 12, huh?
No, and they shouldn't. I mean,
Really?
there's no. I mean, some people don't believe in. You realize how important Joe Namath was in the NFL? People don't understand. I mean, he's really kind of almost partially responsible for the merger of the AFL and NFL because he beat the Colts in Super Bowl III, and I was there. I covered Joe, by the way, when I was in New York the first time. Gosh, what he'd have been if he had been crippled. But no, I mean, there are some numbers in some teams that you just don't wear. And
right. No, I get that, but I bet, and I know we've told the story about Sonny Jurgensen on this air.
Yes, you have. We have.
Which was bull crap. But I wonder if Aaron even asked Joe if he could wear 12.
Good question.
Yeah.
Well, Joe would have probably said yes.
Yeah. Well, same thing. Sonny said yes to me, and then he went and bashed me in the Washington Post. So
yeah, well,
he can kiss my butt.
I'm gonna guess you were not a fan of Sonny Jurgensen.
Well, I was fine. We had an hour-long conversation, which I've told this story on air.
Yeah.
He's like, "Oh, it'd be great to see number 9 out there." Blah blah blah. This that.
Yeah.
And then the very next day, he's blasting me in the Washington Post to his buddies. I was like, "Dude, all you had to do was say I'd rather not see it out there."
Yeah. So, yeah. Well, I told you this. Go ahead.
Nat says that Namath did give him the blessing, but
did?
Rodgers decided not to.
No, I didn't know that. Well, good for Rodgers. Probably smart on his part. The other thing I told you was that I was in the press box whenever the Redskins played the 49ers in a preseason game, and Steve was one of Steve's first games, Spurrier's, and in a pregame chit chat in the press box, and sitting there, and Jurgensen was talking about it, analyzing Spurrier. Said he throws balls sidearm, don't he? Man, look, I'll never forget that. But yeah, well, anyway, the Redskins are history now, and we got a new draft coming up. You got to get me prepared. You said last night on my show that Bryce Young is the number 1 quarterback taken. That's what you said.
I would be shocked if he's not the guy taken first.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you on that. I think so too. He's a little undersized. How big is he? 5'10" and a half?
I want to say he was under 6 foot when he went to the combines.
Definitely under 6 feet.
And probably weighs about 190. So he really hasn't missed any games due to injury, I don't believe.
No,
but
he hasn't.
The only thing that concerns me is the beating that he's going to take in that league.
Right.
Because as I've always said, they're grown men that are trained killers. And but he is so smart and so savvy with the football, he can protect himself. Yeah. But I think he'll be the first quarterback taken.
Yeah. Why?
Because he's a phenomenal player. The guy's won. This is the other thing too. I think people overlook this. If you've won, go back to our league. The best quarterback in our league in the XFL that just came out of was AJ McCarron.
No,
but he's a winner. Knows how to win.
Yeah.
He's won 2 national titles. He won in high school. He knows how to win. It's just like I said. You go back and you look at the most successful quarterbacks at the University of Florida. I want to say every one of them won a high school state championship. They won some form of an SEC, and they won some form of a national. Okay, so winning goes a long ways. And I think Bryce Young has won everywhere. He's played at a high level. He's an elite thrower of the football, and it can process the information.
And he passed that cognitive test also.
Yeah, I don't give a damn about that.
But. I'm going to give you that cognitive test. See how you do on it.
Well, I've had a lot of concussions, so it probably won't be very good.
But back to the thing on Bryce Young. I mean, He's really Montana's size, but a little bit smaller. Montana was a little taller, and he's got a great touch. And he's a smart football player, really smart, I think. C.J. Stroud, I told you last night on the show, is being knocked down by some people because of this cognitive test. And then Will Levis didn't exactly light up people because of it either. So I saw that. Have you been watching that special on the clock? You haven't been watching it, have you? Which
I have not seen a thing. I have not seen one minute of NFL draft stuff.
I think the one on Anthony's tonight. Somebody tell me. Anyway, they really go into these guys, and they go into the Manning camp, and they and they talk. It's really good. I mean, they talk to the player in depth, and they show it. They talk to Archie and whatever, Peyton and of course Eli are there, and they're talking quarterback. It's a show you love. It's for QB, so watch it. Somebody help me out here. I think it's the one on Anthony Richardson, who was there last year, is tonight, I believe.
Yeah, maybe somebody will chime in here. At Ruse Ogre State Farm office is a team of dedicated insurance professionals ready to help life go right with the right insurance options for you and your family. Visit ogreinsurance.com. Give them a call at 352-240-1779. Got Buddy Martin from the Buddy Martin Show. You can listen to Buddy Monday through Thursday nights about 9 p.m. Eastern time on Facebook Live. And you can also, Buddy, tell them right now, tell them how they can go buy Gator Bait.
Yeah, you need to get that because we got some good stuff in there, really good stuff lately. And it's almost like a daily report. You cannot go without reading Franz Beard, who just turns it on. You know, it's not for everybody. You're a Gator fan. You want to go find out what's going on and get good writing, good reporting. Franz Beard, myself, we've got a couple of young interns, Kyle and Matt, who are really cranking it up. And you can go to gatorbaitmedia.com. There's a whole bunch of different kind of plans to sign up for. You get all access. You can just get whatever you need, but you can get them on a daily basis and find out what we know, which isn't everything, but it's a lot. We know a lot. So thank you for giving us the opportunity. I'd like you to check us out, gatorbaitmedia.com.
Yeah, Dan says on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mel Law. You can make a long list of tall QBs that didn't make it, no doubt about it. Real quick, buddy, I wanted to get your thoughts because you asked me last night. I think Anthony will be the fourth quarterback taken. I don't know where it is. I don't know who drafts where, but I think Bryce Young will be first. I still think C.J. Stroud's going second. I think the third quarterback taken is going to be Will Levis, and then I think Anthony will be the fourth one. Where do you think he gets? Not where, but in what order of the quarterbacks do you think he goes?
Well, first of all, Shane, you got to clarify it's not just always the best player gets taken in that slot. It's the needs of the team. That's important. You got to know what they're looking for. We've heard everything from Anthony being chosen first to being a top 15, to being a top 10, whatever. It seems and feels like there won't be four quarterbacks taken in the top 10, I wouldn't think. But if they do, I think he'll go in that lower part, and I'm with you. He could go third or second if somebody falls in love. There could be trades made too, Shane, as we saw last night with Aaron Rodgers and the draft picks picked up by Green Bay from the Jets. So that shovels the deck a little bit or whatever. I'm gonna go say he'll be a top 12.
But do you think he'll be the second, the third,
probably the fourth, unless somebody's lying about falling in love? I mean, you can't. You said this from the get-go, and you're so right. Somebody's going to fall in love with Anthony's measurables, and he set the records of the combine. You sit there, you're a Charlotte, or you're not Charlotte because they're first, but you look and say, "Wow, look at that guy! I could make him a superstar, be a Hall of Famer." I look. He's got everything. I just got to teach him to be more accurate. It sounds easy, not. And they'll say, "You're going to make a trade and go up." That could happen. Because he's the eye candy. He's the guy you say, wow, this is a guy could be all world. I'm gonna take you. But I think probably where he belongs is in top 12, top 15. And that'd be great because that's a lot of money. Was that about 20 million or something?
Well, it's a lot of money anytime you get drafted in the first round. So he will let's just hope that happens. And remember, I want to say it was Aaron Rodgers. We're talking about Aaron Rodgers today. He was supposed to be a highly drafted kid and he went real late.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Buddy, let's switch gears a little bit back to Gator football.
Yeah.
I'm sure Seth and JC talked about it yesterday, but we've had two guys that played quite a bit for the Gators last year going to the transfer portal, Xavier Henderson and Antoine Ryle-Powlin.
Right.
Ryle-Ryland. So what are your thoughts on there? What I know Franz is close to it, got a lot of insiders.
Right.
What do you think there?
Well, it's never good to me that you lose a guy that can play for you. But apparently there's something going on with the receivers. You got those young kids coming up that are really making noise, and you still got Wilson to show up. Well, I hear he's a terrific player. Andy Jean, Aiden Mizell, and they're new. And then there's a playing time issue, they say, because you still got some guys coming up like Jaquavion Frazier's, etc. So apparently, I'm just surmising this, that he saw the writing on the wall, Xavier Henderson saying, I'm not going to get that much playing time. And Billy Gonzalez likes to play a lot of receivers. Remember when he played 4 all the time? They rotated him around. And so maybe he looked around and said, you know what, I can go somewhere and catch more balls. He's a good player. He's got great speed. And he got a lot of praise from his head coach during the spring. But he's gone now, and Antoine Powell-Ryland, France says that Henderson won't be missed, they don't feel like. And he says Antoine Powell-Ryland, the edge guy, is just not big enough in that position. Will have to become an outside linebacker, and apparently he's gone. So that's what's gone, along with – you see what happened in Boulder? 18 players have left.
So I wanted to bring that up. I spoke briefly on it last night on your program.
You did.
As I was driving. I don't think Colorado will win 3 games this year. And the reason, buddy, I saw some clips of their spring game.
Yeah.
And you always think people set stuff up to make it look good. I've never seen anything set up like this place was. They literally would the kid Travis Hunter, who was supposed to go to Florida State a couple years ago, went to Jackson State.
Right.
He's playing both ways, receiver and DB. They literally would put him in the slot and not even cover him, and then run him on like a corner route or a go route or a seam and throw a touchdown. And people go crazy. I'm like, they didn't even cover him.
Really?
And the best receiver they had, who had like 150 something yards, he's in the transfer portal. I just think it's going to be a mess, personally. I know Dion did a great job at Jackson State, but when people leave, that doesn't mean something bad's going on.
No,
I just don't think they're going to be a very good football team. They open up with TCU.
Wow.
So we'll see. Yeah. But yeah, it's they had a lot of people at the game. But buddy, you gotta pull up some of the clips on Twitter.
Okay.
And remember a couple years ago, I don't know if it was Billy that did it or McElwain. Remember they had like Doring and like his old jersey and shorts, and Travis McGriff and Doug and those guys throw some passes and run some routes and catch some touchdowns.
Yeah,
that's kind of how I felt with this game.
Really,
the guys were still eligible and in full gear. So I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, it's like those videos you see where they take a little kid and put him out on the field, let him score a touchdown, make him feel good, right?
Yeah, Dan says there's 41 transfers since Dion got there. They were 1-11, so there's that. Yeah, just because they're transfers doesn't mean he's not bringing in better players.
18 since the spring game. I mean,
I just don't think they're going to be very good.
Yeah. He will attract some. He attracts some good players, though. He will.
I do know he's lost a couple guys that he attracted as well. Josie says their schedule's tough for them too. Well, yeah, they're in the. I don't even.
Pac-12.
What are they?
Pac-12.
They're in the Pac-12. Pac-12. Yeah, it was Mullen that did it. Greg said when he had Doring and those guys.
Yeah,
but nothing wrong with that. But we'll see. Let's see. We got a couple of texts on the Titan More text line I want to get to. This is from Daryl. He says, Shane, I guess there is truth to the Morgan Wallen song last night. We let the liquor talk. I'm not concerned about I'll tell you, poor guy. I'm not concerned about Gators baseball. Should I be concerned about softball? Good question. I wanted to bring that up with Buddy.
Yeah.
So, Buddy, baseball got swept, as we know, South Carolina.
Right.
It's the SEC, man. I talked about it on your show last night. I know fans get upset about it. We walked some guys. I know in one game we walked a ton of guys, and they got a couple hits and blew it open. Baseball is going to be fine. I think softball, they're down. Yeah. But again, all you got to do is play well in the postseason play, and you're in Oklahoma City. They're I mean, it's the SEC, both softball and baseball. It's a bloodbath every weekend. Yeah,
but you don't want your team to go south like that in Columbia. I mean, France talks about it saying, well, it's a tough place to win. We're better at home. They just get beat. They got hammered by South Carolina. And South Carolina, I think, was ranked, 6 or something, and Florida's ranked third. Not that that matters. And, I think ever since that incident happened with their pitcher getting tossed, on the relief pitcher getting tossed, that wasn't the reason. But their bullpen is screwed up. I mean, and they're not hitting the ball. My good friend Kaki, who's the biggest Gator baseball fan I know, who watches everything. They stop pitching and hitting at the same time in Columbia. It can be overcome, and they're good enough. They're going to get their bullpen straightened out, and I think Sully can do that because he's good at that. But these guys are all terrorizing every pitching staff with their hitting, and their hitting fell off a little bit too. So they're going to have to move some things around. So, yeah, it was disappointing, not terminal. I have watched the softball. I take yours and Dan Bond's word for it that it's the postseason, but we're used to seeing, we're all used to seeing those teams win. This is supposed to be Sully's year.
Yeah, and I have not been able to keep up with softball like I normally do. Now that I'm back, there's only
get on it, will you? You're our softball guy.
I think there's only 2 weeks left in the regular season. And they go to the SEC tournaments in Fayetteville, Arkansas, and then we get into postseason play. So I will get out there and watch.
Get your buddy Tim Walton on the show.
He was on a couple of weeks ago, I think, with Kyle Crooks or Seth or something.
But you got to get him on. He's your guy.
Well, he's busy trying to figure out how to win games right now, but we'll get him on for sure.
All right.
So, buddy, did you watch any of the NBA playoffs?
I watched about 5 minutes of the game of the night, Sacramento and Golden State, and what a dumb play! Did you see the timeout they called at the end of the game? It caused them a technical foul. Anyway, they wound up winning the game.
I didn't see any of it, but
that's all I've seen. I haven't watched any NBA except that. Anyway, I'll start watching it when they get to the conference championship.
Yeah, well, the reason I brought it up is because Jimmy Butler had like 55 points.
I saw that.
He came down from like 15 points in the second half, and now they're up 3-1 over the 1 seed Milwaukee Bucks. So, I saw a stat which was amazing to me. The Miami Heat are playing on their roster with 7 players that were not drafted.
Really?
Think about that. You only have like 15 on your team. But they have the most players on their roster that were not drafted in the NBA. Yeah. So I thought that was kind of cool.
I wonder if our listeners and viewers watch the NBA. I don't know. I don't get the feeling that they do very much, but I know that's all ESPN is. You turn on during the daytime, that's all they talk about is the NBA.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We'll see that. But I'll start watching this soon. But right now I got to get ready for the Derby, man. First Saturday in May is coming up. No,
man. Any Ocala horses in?
I want to have to do a little homework on that. Oh, there'll probably be always some who are connected, either trained here, bred here, whatever. I'll get you more on that when we talk next week. Get ready for it. But yeah, I got to get ready for the Derby, and and then
is that this weekend or next weekend?
No, first Saturday in May, always. It's next weekend.
That's next week. I can't even keep up with my days.
But you lost your calendar. You don't even know where you are. You don't know your name. You just went away. You need to get back and get rehab. Get yourself in gear here, buddy. Come on.
I'm ready to get organized again. Yeah. Dan says on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mellon Law. Depends, obviously, if Florida will get a good draw for regional softball. He can't see UF getting getting out of the super regional.
Yeah.
Well. Yeah, I mean, super regionals are tough because you got to go on the road and you're playing a really good team, but you never know. You never know. I got to get hot. It's for 2 games. 2 games, 2 out of 3.
That is true.
So,
Shane, did you go and get my? Wait a minute, I got to change my hats.
You got a new hat, buddy?
Let's name a hat.
Oh, the Rays. Now listen.
I wear it all the time. I'm not a front runner. I wear it all the time.
No, I know you do. You're a diehard. Now, the last time I even checked in Major League Baseball, they were like 12-0. What's their record now?
They're 20-3.
Wow,
and they set all kind of records. They beat the Astros, world champions, last night. Wander Franco. They're hitting home runs every game. They set records for that. Franco had to play last night on a foul ball, running away from him, trying to catch it and reach out with his bare hand and going the other way and caught it. What a play he made. And they won I think they're 20-3 now, and they beat the world champs last night. It's so much fun to watch this team play.
Is anybody going to? Are they getting anybody to these games, buddy?
Well, they had a pretty nice little crowd for the White Sox. They're not going to get Yankee Stadium full crowd,
right? But I'm telling you, I don't know. I don't follow enough, and I know it's all
Well, you know what? You can't get
money generate. Why do they
it's
not
about.
build a stadium over
Well, they're
there?
talking about it, but they
They've
got
been
a
talking for
sweetheart
like
deal.
20 years.
But yeah, they're trying to get the land in Ybor City and all that sort of stuff. They want to get it closer to Tampa. But I'm gonna tell you something. They should come up with a first class Miami stadium. They got a lousy ball club and a great stadium. I mean, the bottom line is they got a stadium there. There's maybe people don't love it, but when it rains, it don't matter. If it's hot, it doesn't matter.
Right, but
the dome is
all you got to do is just. I went opening day. I went to the Texas Rangers.
Did you?
Their old stadium
Yeah.
is still there. A lot of
Yeah.
stuff is being used,
Right.
and
Right.
it's only like 15 years old. I'm
Yeah.
like, why do they build a new one right next door? It looks like you walk into a convention center, but they
Mhm.
got the retractable roof. So it was open for the first 5 innings, and they
Right.
close it.
It's great
That's
if you
all
got the money.
That's all Tampa has to do is
You
build.
got to get the fans to support the team. That's the thing.
Well,
And
they
you
will.
can't
I guarantee.
You can't
Think
support
about
this
this, buddy.
team. You can't
Think
support
about-
any team.
Think about how they support the Tampa Bay Lightning. Okay,
Yeah, but it's a small arena.
it's 18,000.
Well,
All you got to do is build about a 35 to 40,000.
I agree.
Stadium.
I'm agreeing with you, but I'm saying to you, is it really going to be that? They're not just talking now about the A's are going to move to Las Vegas.
Well, they need to.
Athletics. Well, I don't want to see them move out of Tampa. I like them being right here.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They need to build a little 40,000
until somebody
seat
comes
stadium.
along, this is what we got. And if you can't follow this team, and they got maybe the lowest payroll in baseball, and they're winning like crazy. They're undefeated at home. They tied the baseball. Bang, they beat the Dodgers for the longest winning streak at home, unbeaten at home, and they're fun to watch. And their pitching is not even quite up to speed yet. So, I mean, they're fun to watch. I'll tell you, if you're not watching, I mean, you don't have to even love baseball to watch it. If you like watching,
it's a great story. There's no question. No
really
question about it. All right, buddy, before we get you out of here, who takes Anthony Richardson Thursday night?
Well, see, you can put me in a position here. I got to go look up the.
Oh, buddy, you got 32 teams. Give me one.
Green Bay. How about that?
Where do they? Do you know where they pick?
Well, yeah, they just got their pick from the Jets. 15, right?
Right, but they have a young quarterback that they drafted.
I don't know. You asked me.
So it ain't going to be him.
I hadn't even thought about that. I don't think it has anything to do with who takes him. It depends on where it falls and how. I think I haven't done a mock draft. I'm gonna do my own by Wednesday. I'll have something, but I think right now, you look at who needs a quarterback, and see. I don't know. I'm not sure who it would be. I wish I could answer your question. I'll ask you this before you go off the air. I asked you this last night. Greatest win. Let's say it. Steve Spurrier's most important win at Florida. What was it?
I'm gonna rephrase it because we talked about it on your show.
Yeah.
And I agree 1,000% with the head ball coach. The most important win in the history of Florida football was 1990 in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. It ain't the damn national titles. It's the most important game that was ever won was that game.
Okay. Now the greatest win.
Well, the greatest win would be your first national title against the Semis, 52-20.
Right.
Yeah, that's a no-brainer.
Yeah, right. I had him on my show last night. I got recordings. So I'm doing a big takeout this weekend on Spurrier and Urban Meyer. Talk to both of them about each other too. And I'll leave you with this question. Think about the greatest tandem in coaching at one school. Alabama's a no-brainer. Bear and Saban, right? As Coach Spurrier says of he and Urban, we got all the titles, and they do. So that's have to have two coaches at one school like that is extraordinary. I don't know what other schools have them. I guess you have to go back to the day of in Tennessee back in the day to talk about what they had and who coached there and now what they got now. I don't know. Think about it. Who are the greatest coaching tandems in football at one school? I mean, Auburn would be Malzahn and
Pat
Dye, yeah. And so, I don't know who Ole Miss would be.
Johnny Vault, and that'd be it.
Vault would be one. Well, is there going to be another one? I don't know.
No, they haven't won anything else.
You know how many
He's the only guy that's ever won?
You know how many SECs Vault won?
A lot.
6.
Well, he won like 2 or 3 national titles too, right?
one, I think. Back in those days, they didn't have it as clear cut, but
Right.
they were not playoffs. So one I know of for sure, maybe two. But anyway, it's interesting to think about the great coaches in the SEC, who they were, and what school has had them. Because in the end,
well, you got Kirby and Vince Dooley.
Yeah, that would be the two from there for sure.
Yeah. All right, buddy. Who you got on your program tonight?
Well, it's going to be one of those nights where we got our friend David Whitley from the Gainesville Sun. We'll also have a variety of the guests, including our interns. Both those guys on tonight, talking ball with us. Come join us tonight, and tomorrow night we got the great Chris Doring on, so he'll be on with us. And I'm going to tip you off on a really good podcast. Somebody you should be watching. If you don't, we got her on tomorrow night. Allie Peak Wilbur. Her grandfather was a Gator in the Golden Era. Her husband was Eric Wilbur, who punted, and she does a terrific podcast on YouTube. And she'll join us tomorrow night, and pretty regular on the show. She has a lot of information. She follows recruiting. She knows Gator football. I'm excited to have Allie on kind of a semi-regular basis starting tomorrow night.
Well, tell her I'll take her on my show too. So
you should have her on. I'll tell you what, she's very popular, smart.
So let
and
people
by the
know,
way,
buddy.
She has two sets of twins. She had two sets of twins, and she does this too. Anyway, go ahead.
Oh wow! So you're doing that not really a comparison, but you're doing the thing with Urban and Coach. How do people read that? So let them know.
Well, it's going to be on Gator Bait. We I did this column last week, something called Artificial Intelligence. Look it up, Shane. It's where you can put a few sentences and it'll write a story for you. And I did that last week and had them write one on Spurrier and Meyer. It didn't turn out great. They have a few factual errors and whatever. But now I'm doing this maybe a series on this in aspect of Urban and Spurrier. How'd they get there? How did they do it? What was their methodology? What are the odds you'd think Spurrier would come in 1990 and win all he won? And now Urban, Urban talked about the pressure of coming in behind Steve. He said last night in an interview, I hated the Georgia game because of what Coach Spurrier did to it. He dominated it 11 out of 12. He says there was always pressure on us. We had to win that game. And so it's just how they affected each other. They are friends now. A lot of respect. Urban has always respected Steve and admired him. So I'm going to talk about them and what they brought in. Think about this. You know how many home games they lost?
Well, I know the HBC lost 5 in 12 years.
And Urban in 6 years, 5. They lost 10 games in 18 years. 10 home games. 10. Mm-hmm. Unbelievable. So, for those days once again, huh?
No doubt about it. Buddy, great stuff as always. We appreciate you joining the program again. I know you've had about 3 months of naps and sleeping in on Tuesday. That's
I got used to it. My clock went off this morning. I thought, oh my gosh, I forgot I got to get up early. Get changed. I'm glad to do it.
That's the good the great Buddy Martin. You can listen to him Monday through Thursday nights on Facebook Live. We're going to take a quick time out. When we come back, you folks have me. Send your Facebook Lives, your texts. We'll get caught up. You're watching and listening to PodUp with Matthews in the morning from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios. We'll be right back.
We want to take this moment to thank our sponsors who keep the show going and pay the bills. Our premium sponsors are Crime Prevention Security Systems, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Titan MRI, Gainesville's only locally owned and operated MRI facility. Meldon Law, the only official injury and accident law attorneys of the Florida Gators. Peaceland Dental, Gator Nation's first choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte. Comfort Temp, comfort is our business, peace of mind is our promise.
Campus USA Credit Union.
QC Kinetics, live pain-free with QC Kinetics. Dave & Buster's, eat, drink, play, and watch. Our gridiron sponsors are Auto ER, UF Bookstores, Celebration Point Town Center, Chris Doring Mortgage, Silverback Concrete Co., Ruse Ogre State Farm Insurance, Doreen Wibby, Realtor Caldwell Banker, MM Parish. Our touchdown sponsors are Adams Ribs, Gator Dominoes, Celebrate Primary Care, Gator Bait Media, Okido America, Style Cuts, Ironwood Golf Course, Big Mills Cheesesteak, McDonald's of Gainesville, 84 Lumber, Tropical Smoothie Cafe, Aver and Smith, Dowling Signs, Baker's Sporting Goods, Silver Cube Billiards and Sports Bar. If you're interested in promoting your business on the show, call Freddie at 352-284-3733. If you like what we're doing here, make sure to follow us and support the businesses that support us.
Pro Football legend Emmitt Smith understands your joint pain.
It does not surprise me that there are a ton of people out there that's in pain.
That's why Emmitt is such a proponent of QC Kinetics, offering real lasting joint pain relief with non-surgical, all-natural biologic treatments.
Whether it's a joint pain, ankle pain, shoulder pain, neck pain, back pain, hip pain, any kind of pain, the body eventually will break down when it's under that much stress.
That stress can cloud your judgment to the point that you'll just say yes to the scalpel or yes to another prescription of pain pills. But maybe it's time for a second opinion from QC Kinetics.
The reason why I would recommend this is because the natural biologics that QC Kinetics is providing you gives your body a chance to naturally heal itself.
Restorative, regenerative solutions are here. Get lasting relief and live your life.
Call QC Kinetics 352-400-4550. That's 352-400-4550. QC Kinetics 352-400-4550.
Prevention Security System Studios, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Celebration points where the Gators go to celebrate. With premium brands like Nike International Diamond Center, Dave & Buster's, Bass Pro Shop, Regal Cinemas, Prime and Pearl, and the HBC's restaurant, Spurrier's Gridiron Grill. We'll see you at Celebration Point where the Gators go to celebrate. I want to thank Buddy Martin from Gator Bait Media joining our program. You got me, folks. The rest of this program this week will be live, and then next week we will be live as well, 5 days a week. Get back to our regular scheduled programming with lots of different guests and things of that nature. But appreciate you sticking with us, and we appreciate Kyle Crooks, Seth Hart, JC, everybody that was involved in the program, while I only did a little bit here and there. Got a lot of comments here about Allie. We'll get Allie on the program for sure. There's no doubt about that. A couple of texts on the Titan MR text line to get to. This one's from John. John says, Shane, what QB would you take if you had any choice in this year's NFL draft? My guy would be Bryce Young. I spoke on it earlier with Buddy. He's won everywhere he's been. Just understands how to play the position. Just an elite thrower of the football, extremely accurate. I just think the world of how he handles himself. Obviously, would he like to be much bigger? I'm sure. But boy, is he a good player. So that's who I would take. Dan says on Facebook Live, brought to you by Melon Law. Did you get a chance to check out the dining scene in DFW while you were there? Not really, Dan. We had so much going on. Didn't do a whole lot, quite honestly. Other teams had more fun and had times to do that, but we did not. It goes to show you that does not that meetings and practicing and all that stuff does not translate to wins. I need to get on the Bob Stoops program where you have a little bit of fun and you can still win games. He comes from that Spurrier tree. So another text here on the Titan MR text line, and I'm sorry I missed this one earlier. This one's from Frank. Frank says, your thoughts on the 2 transfers after spring ball. Buddy and I touched on that one. He has a little more information on that. Apparently, they weren't going to play a whole lot. Who knows what the story is? But I'm going to ask our listeners, because y'all probably know this, and I should. I believe they can transfer to another school and play this fall, but they can't do that in the SEC. Because I think if they transfer into the SEC, they will not be eligible to play this fall. But I could be wrong on that. So we'll see where those guys end up. I know the Gators are still searching in the transfer portal. You do it daily to see if anyone can help your program. I want to say a couple of kids from Colorado are coming on visits. I think one's a DB and one's a wide receiver, if I'm not mistaken. But again, I'm way behind all that stuff, so don't quote me on that. Tomorrow program will have JC. We may have another guest. Like I said, I'm trying to get back into the swing of things. But JC and I will do our Peachland Dental golf picks for the weekend, and we may pick some other stuff as well, just for some fun. But last night in hockey, if you missed it in basketball, as I said, Jimmy Butler had an incredible night, and the Heat lead the series 3-1 over the Bucks. They win 119-114. Lakers win in overtime, 117-111. They take a 3-1 series lead over the Memphis Grizzlies. And then in hockey, I want to say the Lightning went down again. So they're down 3-1. Doesn't look good for them. And tonight you got Carolina and the Islanders, the Stars, their series tied 2-2. Edmonton and the Kings are 2-2 as well. So fun time sports, as Buddy said. The Kentucky Derby's next weekend. And with college baseball and softball wrapping up, getting close to the end of the season, just a fun time. Another text here on the Titan MR text line. Yeah, I was correct. So if you do transfer now, you have to sit out a year until you're eligible to play. So I doubt Xavier Henderson and Powell Ryland will go within the conference. I know Henderson, it was between us and Clemson when he came out of high school and chose us. So maybe he ends up being a Clemson Tiger. Who knows? Dan says the Lightning were up 4-1 in the third and lost. Oh, wow. I did not know that. Gave up 3 goals in 7 minutes. Wow. That is that ain't good. That ain't good at all. Yeah, Major League Baseball has been quite interesting. I knew that the Rays started out really, really well. And then Buddy told me they were 20-3. That is amazing. I did not know that. The Yankees sit at 13-10. You got to like seeing them not have much success. Astros are 12-11. They're in second behind the Rangers at 14-8. Let's see. Braves. Look at the Pirates. They're 16-7. You can tell I've been not paying any attention if the Pirates are winning. All right. Cliff says on Facebook Live, brought to you by Melon. Any idea if Billy has plans to get a tight end or 2 out of the portal? My glasses are getting bad. I need to go see the eye doctor. What is the tight end situation? That's a good question. I know a lot of people worry about the tight end position. It's not a concern for me. I know Jonathan Odom will be coming off an ACL. I don't know if he'll be ready to go for the fall. Xanders is still here. Obviously, we've lost some guys due to injury. I know they really like the Boardingham kid. So we'll see. I know tight ends are important, but we'll be okay there. I want some dudes on the outside that can score touchdowns. And it seems like they got some good young, fast guys that will be pretty legit. Let's hope. Joseph says the Pirates are on pace for 100 wins. Wouldn't that be something? When's the last time they won 100 games? Back in the day when Willie Stargell and We Are Family was playing. And then Nat says they can petition to play in the SEC to play immediately. I guess they can. Seems like everybody can petition different things all the time. So, at Chris Doring Mortgage, they do mortgage lending right, helping home buyers throughout Gainesville and North Central Florida. Call Chris Doring Mortgage today at 352-244-0840. Another text on the Titan MR text line. It comes from Jonathan. Jonathan says, I have Anthony Richardson going to the Seahawks. What do you think? Well, I don't know where they pick. I've heard that before too. I mean, obviously Geno Smith is penciled in as their starter. Maybe that's a good situation for him to go there. I don't know where the Seahawks even pick, quite honestly. I will know this tomorrow. I'm going to look at the draft order. But all I can say is you can book that Bryce Young is going to be the first pick to the Carolina Panthers. Guarantee it. Cliff says it's been a long time since the Pirates have been relevant. There is no question about that. And Greg says, Shane, tell everyone how hard it would be for a new QB to come in now and start. Very difficult. Very, very difficult. It's not unheard of. Again, as I haven't talked a whole lot about the spring game. I've yet to see it. I've talked to people that were there. I've talked to people that have watched the tape, the all 22. The people that watched the tape told me it was not nearly as bad as people think it was. Graham Mertz's numbers were not terrible. I know they had a lot of bad snaps due to centers being out and putting a kid who still should be in high school who never played center. There's nothing worse than when you get bad snaps out of the shotgun. It just destroys practice. I can't imagine how Billy felt during a game, how that kid felt. It ruins everything. So that kind of was part of the problem. Again, defensively, I've never, in all my years of being around spring games, had teams blitz. Maybe one or two blitzes, but not as much as the Gators blitz. And not only did they blitz, they brought corner blitzes, corner cats, as most people call them. I don't know if we were trying to say, hey, we're going to be aggressive on defense, and this is what you're going to see. And I don't know. I have no idea, but I was surprised at that. And that's what some of the comments were that came from people who watched the tape. They were blown away at how many blitzes were coming. Because normally in a spring game, obviously you want to set it up where, you play base coverage, where it's cover 2, cover 3, quarters, whatever it is. No blitzing, rush 4, and let's just go play. See if our quarterbacks can throw, in zone coverage, play a little middle man here or there. Boy, apparently we came with some all-out blitzes, corner blitzes, as I stated, and you just don't see that. And I know a lot of people are concerned about the offense. I get it, but let's just wait and see when we roll into Salt Lake City. Another text on the Titan Mart text line. Lots of people do not know what Alt 22 is. Can you explain? Oh, all 22. Okay, so all 22 is watching game tape. So when a coach pops in the game tape, you got the 11 offensive guys, 11 defensive guys. You got a shot from really high up, from sideline to sideline, and then you have the end zone cameras so you can watch the end zone copy, which is usually from tackle to tackle. So that's what the all 22 is. So when coaches and players watch tape, I don't know when they came up with the term all 22, but that's you see each play, and you get to rewind it and all that kind of stuff. So that's how they watch tape, and you can see everything there. The eye in the sky don't lie. That's the old saying. The eye in the sky don't lie, and that is very, very true. Well, we got a lot of text here. Let me get to this one. This is from Bob. Bob says, and we talked about this earlier too. Shane, I know you're close to the Gator softball program. How concerned are you? Everybody's concerned about softball, boy. I know one thing, Skylar Wallace is having an outstanding year, has a chance to be the player of the year in the country. Season hasn't gone as anticipated. I really have not spoken with Tim. I'm going to try to get out there next couple of weeks, but the season is winding down. I think they'll be okay. I'm gonna stick with the guns that his experience, the way he gets the girls ready in postseason, that they'll be just fine. Greg says, I wonder if the spring game was set up to try and convince people the defense is going to be improved. It could have been, because a lot of times you try to set it up where your offense is successful. I know that's what they did last year. So who knows? Who knows? I like I said, I've never heard of that much blitzing. And if you're not prepared for the blitzing, it can make you look bad. But again, I think a lot of the snaps had a lot to do with it. So we'll see. Gators got a lot of work to do, no question about it. I mean, Georgia will clearly be the favorite in the East, probably with Tennessee second. I would probably think Kentucky's going to be the third pick by the media boys when they go to SEC Media Day. So who knows? We're not far away. It'll be here before we know it. And we'll be getting ready and getting excited to go out to Salt Lake City, talking about that game on the Thursday night. Can't wait. And I assume their quarterback will be ready to play, but time will tell, and we'll see. But nobody expected us to beat them here last year. Everybody talked about the heat, the humidity, all that stuff. How's the altitude gonna affect the Gators? How do you prepare for that? I'm sure they have ways that they can. Dan says on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mel Law, you would think Florida would have gotten some of their transfer pitchers. A lot of SEC teams have them. Florida needs them. Why didn't they go there? Dan, that's a great question, because I know last year during baseball season, a lot of people were talking about Florida need to go get transfers, whether it was the best JUCO pitcher in America. Give him an opportunity to come pitch for the Gators. Maybe Kevin O'Sullivan doesn't have that philosophy. Maybe he wants kids out of high school. I don't know. I know we had the Raul Pell came from Coastal Carolina. couple years ago. So I can't think of us bringing in a lot of guys from other universities or colleges. I know LSU did that this year, and I don't know if it was pitchers or not, but I want to say they're still number one in America. So that's an interesting point. Not sure what their philosophy is there. Let's get to This Day in Sports, which is brought to you by our good friends at Comfort Temp. Comfort is our business, peace of mind is our promise. Summer is on the way. When was the last time your AC was tuned up? The time is now before the summer heat waves kick in. Call Comfort Temp at 352-376-2366. This Day in Sports in 2019. And so here are the first picks in the 2013 draft. We're on this day, and 2019 draft. In 2013, the Chiefs took Central Michigan offensive tackle Eric Fisher as the first pick of the draft. Became a really good player. He was actually a former quarterback, believe it or not. And then in 2019, the Arizona Cardinals took the Heisman Trophy winner out of Oklahoma, Kyler Murray. So those both happened on this day in sports, which is brought to you by our good friends at Comfort Temp. Dan says the South Carolina pitcher was from the state of Florida. She's good. Just to name one. Was it South Carolina? You talking about baseball or softball there, Dan? Van Der says, my glasses are so bad, folks. I got to get some new glasses. I'm having trouble reading my screen. When AR gets drafted and he would ask for your help, would you try to help him? Sure. I mean, I don't know how I'll help him. So, people have their trainers that do all these crazy drills. I don't agree with a lot of that stuff, but they do it. That's just what they do these days. For me, it comes down to a few things. Can you process the information quickly? Can you anticipate and can you throw accurately? And are you a tough dude? Because you better be a tough dude mentally and physically to play that position, especially at the highest level with the best players in the world. When it comes to X's and O's, you can only do so much for a player. Some guys just don't understand why you're calling that play, or they may understand it on paper or on the computer, but when the bullets start flying, do they know where to go with the football, and can they throw it into that small window? There's not much people can do there. You either have it or you don't. Bryce Young has it. I mean, if you go back and watch his tape of how he throws the football, boy, is he a good one. He is as good a thrower as I've ever seen. I think C.J. Stroud's a phenomenal thrower. And when I say those things, I'm not talking about how far he can throw a football or how hard he can throw a football. That does not matter. It's about throwing it into a window this big or hitting a guy in stride running a 4-2 that you have to pinpoint accurately throw that ball before this safety gets there. Those are the type of things I'm referring to. So, but to answer your question, Vander, yeah, I would help him. I don't know what I could do to help him. But yeah, I'm all here I want guys to have a lot of success. I'm rooting for Anthony Richardson. He's got, like we all know, he's got God-given ability that nobody else has ever had. Let's see what happens from there. So anyway, it's good being back with you folks. We appreciate all the Facebook Lives, the texts, all that good stuff. Again, this week, it's all going to be live, but it's going to be kind of scattered as usual. But then next week, we'll get back to getting a lot of guests. We'll get some people to recap the draft and things like that. So hope y'all have a great day out there. And make sure you tune into our program tomorrow. Tell all your friends and family. We're back and we're live. Appreciate you joining us today, folks. You've been watching PodUp with Matthews in the Morning from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios. Have a great day.